Hello, welcome to another video on my channel here. I am going to make today with you a very simple, very micro mini photo album. That's all it is. It's just a photo album. It's just a simple way to share some photographs. And the great thing about it is that you can make it bigger, you can make it thicker, you can make it bigger if you want to. You can adjust just about anything to make it be what you need it to be, and it's really easy. And there are a lot of these running around, but I thought I would make one of my own, and then I thought I would make it with you guys. So this is just a matchbook mini album, just very simple, and I'm going to go with very minimal decoration on this as well, so that it can be made very easily. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get started. To make this, all you need is 2 sheets of cardstock, any color you like. I'm choosing white because, again, I want it to be very simple, very minimal. I'm choosing white, and my photos, I printed them in black and white so that it would be very simple. So all you need is the 2 sheets of cardstock if you're making this size, and depending on how many pages you want. This 1 sheet of cardstock makes 6 pages, and then 1 sheet of cardstock makes the cover. So you can have more than 6 pages. You just need more cardstock if you want to. And then depending on the sizes too. The size of this one is 3 by 3.5, and I chose that because half of the page is covered up, and so I wanted a square page so that I could put a square picture on it. So I could print, if I wanted to, this would make a really good Instagram photo album. You can just print your square photos very easily, okay? And then I just use some staples to put it together, and that's it. It's that simple. So let's go ahead and make it right now. To start off, you take your first sheet of cardstock, and for this one I just used a regular weighted cardstock. I don't know the weight of these. It's just white cardstock that I bought at either Joann's or Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I don't remember where, but just plain white cardstock. And I cut this, for my size book, I cut it to 3 by 3.5. And the only thing that I'm going to do to these is score them. I put them in here with the 3.5 along the top, and I'm going to score them at 3 inches. And I'm just going to do a light score. It doesn't even need to be really pronounced. It's just going to help them bend a little bit better when they're in the staples. And this part is not necessary. I just like to do it because I think that it helps when looking through the photos. I think it helps make it just a little bit easier. Okay, so there we have that. These are all set to go. Next we have a sheet of cardstock, and this is white cardstock, and this is 110-pound cardstock, and I chose to use that because it's thicker, it's sturdier, and I think it will work a little bit better for a cover. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, and I cut this to 3, and it's just by 11 because I didn't know how, depending on how many pieces you put in here, that will depend on how long you need it. So I just cut mine. I just left mine at 11 and cut it to 3. And I'm going to make my first score mark at 1/2 inch. And these ones need to be pronounced, so, you know, make it nice and deep. Then I'm going to make my next one just 1 line over that's at the 5/8 of an inch. So I made my first one at 1/2 inch, and then my second one at 5/8 of an inch. Okay? And then the way to do the next one is to put your paper in there at the 5/8 of an inch mark, however long you've made it. And I'm going to go, mine ends at 4 1/8. So I'm going to go up to the 4 1/4 mark because I want to give myself a little bit of space in there. I'm just going to make 1 score mark there. Okay, so it's that simple. Nice and easy. Then I'm going to crease all of those score marks. You really don't need to do the extra score mark that I did down here. I'm doing it simply because I think it allows for looking through the pictures a little bit easier, once again. But it's not necessary. I just like the way that it looks when you have the extra the extra space in there because you're going to have that space when you put your pictures in. Okay? Then, so we've creased both of those, and then we take our pages and we're going to stick them in so that the score mark, here's the score mark, let's see, there's the score mark that's going to go down and line up with the top of that one page, or the top of that fold. Then we're going to just line up our sides, line up our score marks, nice and simple, make sure everything's lined up nicely, and then we're just going to put one staple in the center. Okay. Now, I want you to look and make sure that when you put your staple in, you put it towards the bottom, but that it also, you make sure that you get all of the pages in there, okay? And the reason that you do that is because when you after you have this, then what's going to happen is your top flap is going to tuck into there, and if you put these up too high, then you won't be able to tuck into that, okay? So now this is what we have so far, and I put 3 staples in mine. You don't need to do that. It all depends on how wide you've made yours. And I did use my Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher because I like the tiny staples. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold this, and I'm going to get a pencil, which always seems to leave my desk for some reason. I'm going to get a pen here, and I'm going to make a little mark, and I'm making the mark, maybe about 1/8 of an inch past where my 1/2 inch mark is. And you do that so that you have something to tuck in to your flap there. Okay. Alright, so now we just tuck that right in there, and the first couple of times you tuck it, it might be a little bit difficult, but the more you tuck it, the easier it's going to get. It's going to get used to it. Okay, so now you can see we have that tucked. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. Now, we're going to decide how we want our pictures to be oriented in here. I want to look at it like this, so that I can just look through the pictures, and I'm not going to put them on both sides. I'm just going to put them on the one side. Okay? So I'm going to put mine like this. So here's my pictures. I'm going to put them just like that. These are pictures of my daughter and her dad, my husband. And I'm going to give this to my husband for Father's Day. So it's little and he can carry it around. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm keeping it super simple too. Because it's for a man. And so I don't want to make him something girly that he has to carry around with him. So we have another picture here. This is my husband trying to give my 17-year-old daughter a piggyback ride. It was cute. Alrighty. I'm just going to stick that there. Then we've got another one here. And place that one right there. Also, if you wanted to, you could mount these onto, so that you had a border. I was thinking of doing like a black border on them, but I decided against it because that would add thickness to the book. And I really didn't want this to get too thick. I kind of wanted it to stay nice and thin. I don't know if you'll be able to see very well, but if you look closely, you can see my daughter is holding our dog Elsa, and there's our puppy Maya, and my husband is holding our dog Sophie. Those are all of our dogs, if you've ever heard them barking and me yelling at them, because they like to bark at our neighbors. just going to stick that one there. And then the last one in. And then what I would do is on the very last, on the cover, the back cover there, which, hold on, I'll show you. There we go. Got all our pages. And then on this back cover here, what I would probably do is have my daughter write a note for him. Okay. Now we can just fold this in. And when you first put your pictures in, like I said, it's going to be a little bit more complicated, a little bit harder. But as you work them, just keep working it in, and then as you put it in there more and more, it's going to work itself out. Okay. All I did there, I was pushing the back of the staples down because it's so thick, and these staples are so small, it's a little bit harder for it to go through them. So now we have, we have a little book with little pictures in it. There we go. Just a fun little gift for my husband. Okay, come on. There we go. Okay. Now the next step is to put a little something on it. I think, hold on one second. Just bear with me for 1 minute. Alrighty. Right here, I have these tiny little thingies here, which I think make great little, just going to make a great little add-on, and then that's also going to help to hold the page down. Just got to find one that I like. Oh, here, this one looks nice. You could use any number of things, like even this would look really good there. And then something to cover the staple, or you could just use one staple. Just can get creative. You don't even have to put anything there if you don't want to. It's just for decoration. It's just a little bit of something. So I think I'm going to go with, I like this one that says my favorite, and I like the way that it covers the staples. I don't even have to put any ribbon or anything on it. I was going to run some ribbon along the bottom to cover the staples, but I don't need to, so I'm going to just go with this. And I'm going to use a really sticky adhesive because I want this to stick down really well. Okay. We're just going to cut those extra parts off. And I'm going to go ahead. There we go. And you can see if I wasn't messing around with this, I'd be done already. And that was under 15 minutes. That's a pretty quick time for a little book. And you can also make it as elaborate as you want to, too. If you want to add more, there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't decorate it a little bit more if you wanted to, or a lot more. It's your book. You can do whatever you want. I just wanted to make something very simple so that I could give it to my husband or I could even carry this in my purse because it's so simple. There's nothing that's going to fall off or anything. Sorry about that. Okay. Just going to take this backing off, and then I'm going to very carefully, now you'll notice that I did not, I don't know if you can notice or not, but there's no adhesive on the top part of this. It's only on the lower part, the part that's going to be covered with the bottom flap. Okay, just going to use my bone folder and stick that down, and there we go. Now we have a lovely little book. Okay, one thing that I did not keep in mind is whatever you put here is going to be bent as you look through your pages, so keep that in mind as well. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there because I like it, but keep that in mind. Don't put something too big like what I was going to put. The circle would probably not work, and then plus it would cover up the picture too much. So we don't want to do that. Okay. This one works just fine. And it's going to fit in there and give it just enough decoration too. Okay? And then you could stamp something on the cover, or you could use pattern paper as well if you wanted to. Alright, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, and I will see you all again really soon.